Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Week 11 edition of the Sunday Night Rundown and the first week of the Gated Jolly Joker Rumble tournaments. The extra point, the field goal, and the touchdown all launched today. We're going to get into the specifics of how the leaderboards are looking. Going to get into a little bit of fun poker chat. TJ, Justin, how are you guys on Sunday evening?
Doing well. Yeah, coming off a little weekend poker grind for myself. So I was just doing nothing but sitting on the couch and watching football today. And it was not very exciting football to watch today, pretty much across the league. Not the best, but good weekend for me overall. And yeah, excited to talk some Jolly Jokers. Got all the contests up and running today. Had some mints flying in all week long, and overall fun times in the OTM and JJ Worlds.
So just to be clear, Friday you sat down and you watched a game and you kind of played a game, and then Saturday you sat and you watched and you kind of played a game, and then Sunday you sat and you watched and kind of played a game.
Really, really healthy lifestyle. Friday and Saturday I just sat there, did a lot of this. You just slide the cards into the middle, fold. It's it was so like on Friday the poker started at noon, and then we bagged chips at like 2:30 a.m. So like literally 14 straight hours of playing poker. And actually, I told
all right. Let's set the stage.
Story was the most. Yeah,
let's set the stage first for the people. TJ. Yeah. Pretty avid poker player, definitely someone who grinds the online streets, is notoriously known by his friend group to just basically be always taking all the money all the time since he's been 12 years old, and ultimately gets a chance to play in the first live tournament at the Borgata Casino in 2 years. We'll let you give us the details of the tournament, how much was the buy-in, how many people played, when did it start, and ultimately where'd you end up?
Yeah. So it was a tournament at the Borgata in Atlantic City. It was a $1,500 buy-in, which is pretty much tied with I've only ever played a $1,500 buy-in one other time. I went and played like not the Millionaire Maker, but the Monster Stack at the World Series of Poker one year, a couple summers back. Mostly I've just played like, $300, $500 buy-ins. And I'd been eyeing it up for a while, but thought that it was maybe a little bit out of my price range. And then Wednesday night, happened to just jump in a Poker Stars online, like $100 buy-in, late regged it, and end up getting fourth place for $1,498. So pretty much the exact amount that I needed to buy in. So I was like, all right, this is a sign. I'm definitely going to go do this. I basically just satellited my way in, and showed up there on Friday, played some poker, and made it to the second day, which was great. And then day two went pretty well. Ended up making it to the final table and then getting all the way down to the final four where we chopped it up at the end. So and $76,000 richer in the pocket, which is by far my biggest ever poker cash, live or online. So super stoked, and it was a ton of fun.
So to understand again, you played a smaller tournament. You got 1,498, 1,500. You take that 1,500. You enter another tournament. You then get 76K. Is there a 76K tournament, or do you go to the high roll? And there's a 50K
now we gotta
one.
Run that up into like a milli next. I feel like that's got to be the play, right?
Or is this at least like take 10K off and put that for the WSOP, and then
I think I might have to do that. I've been talking about playing the WSOP main event for, I don't know, probably since I turned 21. Have never played it, and maybe 2023 summer is going to be the one now that I got the bankroll to support it. And I'm always, you guys know me, I'm always a let it ride kind of guy. I'm a don't leave the table when you're on the heater. I typically, anytime I win things, I'm a little bit behind you, so you just saw that play. And there's another. I'm already thinking there's a. So this was basically a warm up for like the big series or bigger series that Borgata's doing in January. I think it's a WPT event. It's gonna be like televised and all. So they're running like a big $3 million guaranteed $5,300 buy-in tournament, which is really outside of my price range. But I mean, when you're playing with house money, but that's a lot. I probably
This is what happened with DFS a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's like, and then I mean, once you get into those tournaments too, I mean, everyone that's playing that, like the pros are gonna be like flying in for something like that. So it was a fun experience and good times. But yeah, that was my poker weekend.
Yeah, it's funny because like Neil, your brother, who's lived in the city with you a bunch, even when you guys were older, was talking about how you guys had your like home games and such. And that was probably back in high school days, and a couple of the guys chimed in, and even back to like the Richmond days, which was now about 10 years ago. I mean, I'm confident saying that I was the best player at our home game. I think Harrison was very good. I would definitely have put you either 2 or 3. I'm curious if you agree with that back then, but I'm saying I am like TJ's far surpassed me now. I don't play enough. TJ's definitely like during the COVID grinded, started studying, playing a ton of online. I think most of us peaked our poker time in the past. I think you're one of the rare ones of our generation that like didn't peak during the online boom, and you're on the upward trajectory for your poker still now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely think my poker game is the best that it's ever been. I've, played a decent amount of online stuff. This is my 3rd live tournament that I played in the last like 3 or 4 months, and I've made day 2 on all of them, which has been great. And it's also like the more that I play in these live tournaments, the more you get a feel for like how this all works. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like you don't really start making good money until the final table, and then once you get to the final table, like it's so different. I mean, it's really a war of attrition, and it's really all about conserving your stack and climbing up the ladders and like taking the good spots where you can take down a pot pre-flop without, seeing a flop. But it's really, really about navigating and, especially because inevitably there's short stacks and there's big pay jumps. So you don't want to bust before a short stack bump. So it was fun to like witness that dynamic in person. And like, I mean, pretty much everyone at the final table is like clearly very good and knows what they're doing. So you're not getting to the end of that tournament luck boxing. Like early on, there's definitely some soft players at my tables, but as we got down to like the final 2-3 tables, it was pretty much everyone's like very solid to like legit professionals. Even the one guy that was the winner, he had the most chips. He's a pro. There was another tournament going on in Philly this weekend, and so he played the day 1 of that Thursday night, and then that ended at like 3:30 a.m. Then he played the Borgata at 12 on Friday. Then he played Borgata day 2 on Saturday, and then today had day 2 for the other tournament. So twice as much poker as I played, and he was basically like, "Yeah, I mean, I really haven't slept," because what I experienced on Friday night was like I was exhausted, but I also couldn't fall asleep because you're like so like hyped. And like we finished the night on the money bubble, so you're like hyped up. There's adrenaline, and yeah, I mean, I get why like the top end poker players right now. I mean, they take like working out and all that, like eating healthy, all that stuff very seriously, and like I get it because they're doing that like all day, every day. You've got to have a healthy lifestyle outside of that, and like they treat themselves like athletes, and I get why, because it's definitely mentally taxing, and then like it kind of trickles down into being physically taxing as well. I also just like feel like I didn't drink enough water. I like woke up the next day feeling like hungover, even though I didn't drink at all. And I think I just didn't drink enough water. And you're just sitting in the chair for 14 hours. It's pretty crazy.
No, it's all interesting. I mean, as long as I think your lack of discussing it means you agree. You were probably 3rd best at our Richmond game, right? I mean, maybe you're better than Harrison. I don't know.
Yeah, 3rd best easily. I mean, I'm the fish at every table I sit at, baby. Everybody wants me at the table.
He's building the long game. It's all about that long game.
You got it. It's all about the long game. You know, you got to get into the soft
Harrison was a big fish back then too.
Splashing around early, somehow always around late. A very interesting strategy when it comes to poker. But man, that was really fun to follow along. Awesome work. I think it was fun for the community. Shout out to the people in the community that were sending all the good lucks, all the positive vibes. That was really fun last night, and awesome to get to a point where you still had chips chips on the table at the end of the tournament. ICM getting to that point and that big of a tournament is just awesome. So excited to see. Excited to see what's next.
It was fun to have everyone following along, and like thanks everyone for that. I had like I played on Friday. Obviously, I didn't say anything, and I got to Saturday, and I was like, I think it'd be fun to like tweet this out and follow it along. And
you already.
I'm glad. Yeah, right. That's what I mean. I feel like I already cashed. I'm like, all right, it's like a six. Like, there's no downside now, but like it did feel like cool playing for like. Feeling like there's a little bit more than just myself on the line, which was great. I mean, I honestly was not expecting the reaction that I got to the original tweet, like just in terms of the engagement and comments and good lucks and likes. Like, I mean, it might sound lame, but it helps, and it like makes you feel good, and it probably makes you play better too, honestly.
You need something to look at and to read for 12 hours, 11 out of the 12 hours where you're just looking at two cards and passing them back to somebody who continues to pass you cards and you continue to pass it back to them. So yeah, that was pretty cool for sure.
It's true, because just avoiding boredom, and I feel like for amateurs, this is the hardest part about a big tournament, is avoiding that boredom, because you can play for 12 hours and all you need to do is get bored for 10 minutes and you play two hands that you shouldn't have played. And like just that one fact, and that's literally less than 1%, maybe 1% of the hands you're going to play the entire day. Just avoiding that hand, those two hands, is huge.
It really is. It's like, it's really just avoiding that landmine and avoiding like getting yourself involved in a hand. And then like all of a sudden you're at the river and you're like, oh my, like I didn't even want to play this hand. And here I am with
what am I doing in this hand?
And like, yeah. So I mean, I was actually
Jack
thinking
3
about
or Jack 4? Which one?
Jack. There we go. There we go.
Know.
No one knows.
I was honestly thinking about it today, and I feel like there's like 4 or 5 hands that I'm like, okay, I made mistakes there, but I mean that's not bad. Like I feel like for the most part, I was feeling pretty sharp. But there was definitely like 2 or 3 hands where as soon as the hand ended, I was just like, what were you doing? Like that wasn't gonna work. Why did you think that was gonna work? But it's easy to get caught up in the moment. And you end up on the river and you don't have a hand and you're like, well, I don't want to just lose, so I got to bet. Even though I like, my store, it's fun. And you get into all the meta with the players in live poker too, which is a good time. And it's also funny, like so many of these people know each other, especially as we got down to the final couple tables. It's like, oh, Greg just busted over there. Oh, how's Johnny doing? It's like, all the East Coast regs. So it was fun to mix it up with them a bit, and was rocking the OTM hat. So I got some questions about what's OTM. Talked a little on the moment. Maybe next time I'll sell some Jolly Jokers at the table. Maybe that could be a bounty. Knock like who's the guy that did the book? Barry Greenstein. Every time you knock him out, he gives you a book. All right, if you knock me out, I'll give you a NFT of a Jolly Joker. I'm sure the people would love that.
Oh, that's only for the $5,300 tournaments and up.
Yeah. That's exactly what the people playing that want. Like they definitely want a Jolly Joker so they can get lifetime access to OTM Premium. I know for sure that's what they're really dreaming of when they show up at the 5,300.
I mean, it's kind of fun. So in the past year and change since we've been involved with OTM, TJ and I combined have kind of chatted up with 3 different World Series of Poker main event champions, right?
Yep.
And we're still trying to get we may get 1 or 2 of those into the Jolly Jokers. I don't know how your talks with Raymer are going.
I gotta follow back up with Raymer. They died off. I followed back up like
it was going to be his first.
I mean,
NFT.
It was going to be his first NFT, and I mean, we saw we went on that stream with Moneymaker. We saw how that went like technologically. So it's and then Jamie Gold I had a call with at one point too. He's like into the kind of sports betting type of space as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, there's definitely like a lot of overlap between poker people and DFS and NFTs and crypto. Anytime there's like speculative opportunity, you get the same types of people showing up and getting involved in the industry.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some football.
Yeah, I was going to just start us off with, we got, looks like looking over in the Jolly Joker Discord, we got two different people at the game. Rise Up is at the game, and we sent B Denbo to the game, sent an awesome picture of himself and one of his buddies at the game. So two people taking in the Sunday night football game, which is really fun. And man, SoFi Stadium just looks incredible from the pictures that people are sending in. That place has to be one of the top stadiums to now watch a game in. But yeah, Chargers and Chiefs, and I was looking as Kelce scored his touchdown. Looks like he's in the field goal. He's 71% owned, and he's what's his hero percentage? It looks like he's 7% owned as a hero as well. So yeah, Kelce doing his thing for those people. Maybe some of the chalk actually hitting. I know it was a week that the chalk also ultimately didn't do so great, but yeah, fun to jump into analyzing the Rumble leaderboards here. Where do we want to start? We want to start extra point? Do we want to start field goal? Do we want to start touchdown? Where do you guys want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I'm showing some of the leaderboard right now. I think so. If we want to start with the touchdown one, smallest field, we've got. Hey, it was a pretty flat contest with regards to ownership. Everything was, not surprisingly, pretty spread around. So Sancho right now is currently in the lead, but you've got a lot of people chasing. So I think Sancho just has Kelce. You've got a bunch of Kelce. He was 77% in the touchdown. I think the favorite right now is probably Andy Reid, who has Eckler, Kelce, and McCaffrey still to go. So lots of opportunity there. I don't know if anyone trailing behind him really has too much. The McCaffrey's at
and I think the McCaffrey's not showing the PMR too, right? We're having
right. But I still think Andy Reid is the favorite with the PMR and all the opportunities.
Yes, I mean the first thing we can see obviously is similar to what we see in daily fantasy sports, where you're getting some of the ownership percentages squeezed up in the smaller field stuff. And also when it comes to Rumble, the people that are playing in the touchdown likely have higher end collections. So they probably have, pretty much the full player pool available to them. I'm super curious to see how it evolves over time, right? I think if I was playing, it makes sense to kind of play optimally chalky, whatever you want to call it, early on, especially the first week, kind of see how things go. And then as each week goes, you'll have more info on if you're ahead, behind. Am I trying to maintain? Am I trying to chase down? So I think we'll definitely see strategic elements there as people fall behind. You can't just play the same players that everyone else is playing because you got to, catch up to them week over week. So with the cumulative scoring, the cumulative leaderboards, I think that's going to be a real cool dynamic.
I was trying to give a little better view on this, so I'm pulling it back up. But yeah, and I think it's interesting because I agree. I don't think there was too much value from a touchdown standpoint of going against the chalk. But that said, there's still so this is what jumped out to me is, okay, so Derrick Henry 81, but we knew what you were getting with your 25 because he played the Rumble wrinkle. No big deal. Okay, makes sense. Justin Jefferson 69%, Stephon Diggs 62%, Devontae Adams was 4%. I think only 2 of the 40.
Adams is getting under-owned every week. He's getting under-owned every week. I don't get how people aren't playing him. I would be.
And I guess he had a Q tag going into the week, but if you really dug into it, it wasn't an issue. Denver is the number 1 scoring defense and pretty much best against opposing QBs. So maybe that scared some people. But you looked at Las Vegas and they don't have Darren Waller. They don't have Hunter Renfrow. It's not easy to run against Denver. I don't know. We can get to DFS stuff, but Devontae Adams pretty much single-handedly gave me a big win in my tournaments today, him and Tony Pollard. And so that's where I just think it's hey, for the touchdown, yeah, definitely not against, not trying to go crazy or anything with your chalk, but there's probably some hey, instead of going for the second best wide receiver, maybe the 4th or something. And especially once we get past the bye weeks, which I think will be week 14, that's where it's going to get really fun because now you're there was no Tyreek Hill. There was no Jalen Waddle this week. Some of your biggest, best wide receivers were off the board. Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, might be done for the year and such, but we lost him. But for the most part, I think it's going to be really fun for that. Any other comments here? And then we can jump to some of the other contests.
I thought it was interesting with Christian Watson, who was 35% at the wide receiver position, and Derrick Henry was 80% at the running back position. So clearly a little less. He had a little less points. He had 21 points, I believe. So, a little bit more volatility there, but definitely a pretty big ownership disparity between what you saw people willing to roster Henry versus Christian Watson. I assume that was related to the position, but I still thought 21 was a pretty solid score to lock in. So 35% of people locking that in. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, let's go take a look at Christian Watson. So, I mean, and if you wanted to play him this week, his low ask $7. And so there was, no barrier to entry virtually if you wanted to play him. And we did see throughout the week, I had some purchases there, some names that I recognized here. So some people probably playing him for that rumble wrinkle aspect. But yeah, I mean, I think 21 is probably right at that line where it's like, you're happy with, I probably wouldn't play 21 in my main event because you're trying to get such high upside. But in the touchdown, 21 ain't bad. Hey, beat Stephon Diggs. Crazily beat Justin Jefferson to our JJ demise. We can get a DFS in a few, Keach. I know.
Me and Justin made a boo-boo in FanDuel Cash.
Did we?
Fancy play. I don't know if we did, but the results.
That's the worst part. I don't know.
I don't know. But we late swapped off of a lineup that would have ended up being a full double into a lineup that was literally 100 out of 100 in 50-50s. That's not
because Justin Jefferson went 3 for 33.
Justin Jefferson.
Kirk Cousins threw for 120 yards on the night. The game was over at half.
And it's we're debating two different late swap options. One of them with Jefferson, one of them with frickin' Devontae Adams, and it was sad. It was a bummer. I still think it might have been correct to swap, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Usually, the way that TJ and I kind of will do our DFS process is we both create our own lineup separately. Then we look at, we kind of compare with each other and kind of talk. And I'd say about 70% of the time we end up on different lineups, but there's probably a difference of two guys, three guys, or sometimes one or two. And then occasionally, though, we'll end up on the same one. And that's what we did for this week. And there were a lot of possibilities for this week. Even down to the wire was still kind of considered between a couple. And then Kenyon Drake just put up a dud. The entire Baltimore team put up a dud. So put us in a position where it was hey, I think we need to late swap, and made a late swap that gave up less than a point while getting 3 unique players. So felt that it was the right play. But those players that we were getting basically was giving up Higgins, who had a monster day. 9 for 154 was last I saw, maybe did more. And instead got Justin Jefferson, who probably had a bottom 5% game.
I mean, when does Justin Jefferson ever have a game this bad? And they're trailing so much the whole time. You can't they couldn't do anything. They got behind so bad that they got pulled.
Yeah.
They didn't even finish the game.
Didn't play the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I know.
He just kept getting sacked. He just it was such an atrocious thing. And they were just running. Dalvin Cook was actually efficient on the ground. That's the only thing that was going. But they time of possession was 100% against the 100% was completely against him. Okay.
The tilt was real, but
I mean, I see people in chat saying the Jefferson and Lamb. I mean, hose everywhere. I mean, Jefferson and Lamb sounded like such an amazing mini stack back and forth for a game that was, had the potential to be a shootout. And one team did their part in the shootout. Minnesota. I mean, that Dallas defense is fantastic. The last couple of weeks, they have not been great. And what was really interesting was going into the game. It was in Minnesota. Help me here.
Yep. I believe it
was in Minnesota, and Dallas was a 3-point favorite. So you have a team that's just came off beating, Buffalo. They're at home. They have 1 loss in the season, and they're 3-point underdogs at home to Dallas was perplexing to some people. And when you looked into why it was, and so Levitan does the one of the ETR gambling pods with a guy whose basically job is to help set lines or beat lines. And he talked about like, hey, all the underlying metrics, all the play-by-play, Minnesota's just not that good of a team. And then Dallas, on the other hand, like they haven't played up to their ability, but like their defense, they could be the best team in the NFC. I don't know.
Tony Pollard is so good, man. Tony Pollard is unbelievable.
Yeah, so my tournament team this week was basically Justin Fields, a whole bunch of crap, and Devontae Adams and Tony Pollard. And those two
good enough this week.
Gave me. Yeah, and I think I was in for 700 and out for around 6,000.
Wasn't that pretty much everyone's? If you had those players, it really didn't matter who you had in the middle because it was pretty much a bunch of crap no matter what.
Exactly. Right. And these are the kind of weeks where it makes sense to, hey, if the chalk busts, you want to be off the chalk and have like the low percent. Like Devontae Adams was 1% owned in tournaments. Tony Pollard was 3 to 5% owned in tournaments. And they both went off. And so, yeah, it worked out well. But
is this Stogie talking about
Devontae, I believe. Yeah, Devontae Adams, I believe.
Stogie is the king of week one. I mean, TOC. No, was that Andy or Stogie? That was Andy.
Andy won.
Okay. And then
I think he was saying that's the reason why I didn't play him in week one, just given that you project lower. You start with the chalk, to your point, DJ. I think sort of using that strategy, you're just kind of hammering in the chalk to make sure you're not sort of falling behind in a massive way. But yeah, I think it will be interesting to see week 12 and going forward. I also really do believe, things like the Christian Watson 35% at 21 points. I think all of that strategy is going to come into play in week 12 and onwards. Obviously, we have a huge Thanksgiving Day slate that will all be part of the Rumble Wrinkle next week. But it's going to be very interesting to see how ownership disperses, who's paying attention to the Rumble Wrinkle, and what ownership does look like for the teams that are not in the top 10. Even in the touchdown, when you're not in the top 10, it's better to chase pretty hard early, I think, to know if you need to chase very, very hard late. So it's going to be interesting to see how different people's lineups are in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. And Stogie, I completely hear you. And I think what's interesting is, so let me go right back to the touchdown. And so if I'm looking at some projections on their site, it's basically Diggs is 22.5 points, Jefferson 22 and change, Lamb at 20, and Devontae Adams at 20. So you're giving up about 2 points in projections. But if we also look at the ownership, there's still 37% of people that didn't play Diggs, and there's 30-some% of people that didn't play Jefferson. So where did those all go? Did they all go to CeeDee Lamb? Because otherwise, Devontae is number 4 there, and for him to only have gotten played in 2 out of the 4% of teams, that just to me was a bit shocking. And I don't think there's value, at least in the first 48, to go contrarian just to go contrarian, but more of just strategy going forward, thinking hey, maybe going a bit off the board has some value. And it'll be interesting to continue to follow.
Yeah, and basically you're right. It did. It went basically to CD and to AJ Brown, essentially, with Darnell Mooney being sprinkled in there, Christian Watson in there, and then T. Higgins and Devontae were both at 4% from a touchdown standpoint. So yeah, it pretty much went to AJ Brown and went to CD. So if you weren't on Jefferson or Diggs, you were on those other guys for sure.
Yeah, I like this baby lineup. We've seen him in the Discord and such, and just taking a look at his, he got a little unique where he went with the Fields, Dave Montgomery, Cole Kmet kind of full game stack there, but no breakback, but just the onslaught, then we call it. Fields and Montgomery did very well. He still got his Derrick Henry, has still played elites in Kelsey, Lamb, Jefferson, but did get a little off the board with the running back and the tight end, and as of now, sitting in 4th place. I guess even Fields was way off the board at only 4%.
Yeah. I mean, Fields continues to be seemingly. Oh, that's right. We'll see what happens with the shoulder. We don't know yet, right? Yeah.
Who just scored? Was it Eckler? Yeah, looks like Eckler got a TD.
I'm behind you, I guess.
Yep, I see that. Yep.
There's a flag. There's a flag, so we'll see what happens.
And then you ask a question in here from D Bizzle, confirming Thanksgiving Day slate. Correct. Thanksgiving Day slate will be all played on Thursday. It will all be part of the wrinkle. So the slate will lock next week, same as all the other slates, Sunday at 1 p.m. So we will know the entire 3 games, entire 6 teams that are ultimately all have the results in before the slate will lock. So yeah, next week is going to be a very, very interesting week from an ownership standpoint. We will see what the results of those games look like, but definitely a lot of firepower in the games that are on Thursday next week.
Yeah, I know we talked a little about it on, maybe it was the Thursday all day, but right here we've got Bills at the Lions. This should be fun, playing indoors. Lions continues to be the Coors Field of the NFL. Daniel Jones, I think, may have even been the highest scoring quarterback this week going against the Lions, putting up 50 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Then you have Giants and Cowboys. Really have no idea what to expect with that one because the Giants just want to slow the game down and such. But 4 rushing touchdowns for Detroit this week, 3 for Jamal Williams against them. So we'll see what happens with Pollard and Zeke, but lots of opportunity there. And then Patriots, Vikings, maybe this is a get right spot for the Vikings after this embarrassment today.
I mean, that Patriots game, man, that was one of the most insane
Crazy
endings to a football game ever. 3-3. I mean, couldn't be worse from a quarterback position from the Jets standpoint. And they take a punt return back to the house to win the game, which was totally absurd. One of the more absurd things that happened, I feel like, on today's slate, and probably that game probably accurately summed up the fantasy outputs from a lot of people's DFS, Rumble, and other teams that are out there. Yeah, one other question in the chat from Blaze is a good question. There'll be one week. It's the, I actually don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's the Christmas week that will lock on Saturday at 1 p.m. So that will be the only week that Rumble does not lock on Sunday at 1 p.m. It'll be the Christmas week. It locks Saturday at 1 p.m. So that's the week of a week of Christmas.
So that is week 16. I can pull it up here and we can give you a little view of, just to make sense of why that's happening. But yes, so Saturday, December 24th, you have almost a full slate of games. So you've got Thursday, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus Thursday. So 12 games. So basically the entire slate is just a Saturday slate. And so it makes sense to lock that one on Saturday at 1. You'll still have the Thursday, December 22nd, Jags and Jets. Everyone's really excited for that one. This is NFL doing us a favor and saying, hey, maybe spend some time with your family this Thursday.
Makes a ton of sense. And yeah, D Bizzle, wish we knew on Playbook. We are getting the news the same way you're getting the news. So no, not sure exactly what the NFL All Day team will do with Playbook. Have heard that they are potentially looking at bringing it back, but don't know when or how or what it will look like. So we'll wait to hear some more news from Dave and the team over at All Day on.
Yeah, Dave jumped on that first Mint Spaces briefly on Friday, and he said they're going to do. My read is nope. There's not going to be Playbook this week, but they're going to do something for Thanksgiving slate. He definitely was not super committal one way or the other, which makes me think that when we will see it back, but it's going to be some kind of different form. I don't know. I'm not really trying to speculate too much on what we're going to get. Just kind of sit back, wait and see, and when we find out what it is, then we'll talk about it then and make sure that all the Jokers and OTM premium users have all the tools they need to tackle whatever the new version of Playbook looks like.
Do we do we have a pack that we want to open tonight?
Oh, I got a pack.
Oh, yeah, Coop's got.
I know
a pack,
you've been.
right?
You've been.
I got a couple packs.
You've been excited, Coop.
Let's do it, Coop.
Anything else to close out?
I think that was mostly it. Yeah, I think ripping a pack and getting out of here would be fun. Should be a good second half of this game here.
Yeah. So I don't really. I mean, the reason why I kind of focus on the touchdown is because since it's a smaller group, we can kind of see like how it's going. The others, there's still a lot of opportunity there. I think McCaffrey is going to have a major role this second half with Eckler and Kelsey. Anything's up for grabs with the other ones. Fun.
And I'm going to do my Rumble review at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we'll have an idea of how this game finishes out, and we'll take another look at the leaderboard at that time.
Do we want to give a little tease about what Neil and I've been working on, or do we want to just keep that a secret for the
Oh,
week?
I was going to end the show with when rarity. So yeah, give a tease. Let's hear it.
Nah, we'll end the show with it. Right now, let's open some packs.
All right, I like it. All right, do we want to open this premium pack from this drop, or I got this standard pack? I don't even know how long ago this was. To be honest,
I'd go with the one from yesterday or
You want
from
the yesterday
Friday.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
because there were some good. I mean, it's a premium one. There were some good, even though like the values ended up not being that great. Like there were some good rares and legendaries in there. Just no PJ Walker.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I think the ultimate pool, I think for me would be the McCaffrey. I got to assume that the McCaffrey's got to be one of the best ones to pull. I would assume.
McCaffrey's
Shout out,
edge.
boys. Packs.
Do. Come on, Flow
Packs
blockchain.
on packs. I know sometimes this can take a little while.
Yeah, I should have thought to sync it up. I honestly wasn't even thinking it. I would have been another 10 p.m. message in our Slack channel from me that said, "Damn, I forgot that we should open my pack."
That's okay. It'll get there. DeBizzle got a Josh Allen rare. Nice.
Wow, let's go.
Of
That's
the
solid.
rares, that was kind of a very, very strong one. Did we see? Did they end up? I think they didn't sell out, did they? At least not the standards.
Premium definitely sold out. Standards, I thought there was like 500 or 600 packs left. The last time I had checked in on it, I don't actually know if they ended up selling them all out or not, but I could be wrong there. I know that it was basically like could continue to buy pretty much as much as you wanted. So I'm not sure if they ended up cutting it off. I thought I saw a tweet around 9:30 or 10 p.m. that was like they were cutting it off at some point potentially. I just don't know if they ended up selling out after that.
That could be. Yeah, I mean, I think like I don't know, the moments that were in it, the players were all for the most part like good players, quality moments. So I think they did a very good job with that. I think just current market price point was a little too high, but maybe that's okay. Maybe this is part of a long-term vision that if packs don't sell and people want to go to the marketplace, they go to the marketplace. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of tweets out there that people took their cash to the marketplace and made a lot of Rumble purchases. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, you have optionality if you are wanting to gamble a little bit and go for those legendaries. Shout out Josh Allen. You got the CMC legendary. I thought that was pretty sweet. So
I saw that on Twitter. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
so
awesome.
good. So good.
/79, I think. So that's
There
all
we
right.
go.
Let's do it. We got 8, right?
you got 8. I'm going backwards, I guess.
All right. Backwards and skip over the special one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
am I going to be able to see that?
Yeah, you will. You will.
Come on.
We got a rookie from New England. Got hurt early on. Great to have him back on our team. Going to be a field spreader. The second round pick of Patriots this year.
Tackle
Next.
So, do I need to? Okay, yeah, looks like an issue.
You'll see. It'll be a different color if it's not.
My best skill, is just, the fact that, like,
Ooh,
I can be
voiceover.
physical at any turn.
Voiceover,
It don't
yeah.
matter, if I got the ball in my hand or if I don't have the ball in my hand. Just constantly, being physical against a guy, trying to wear the other team down. I'm making promises to myself that I'm gonna approach my rookie season
3 badge rookie. I like
a
it.
pro, like these year 2 and 3 guys, approach the league. I don't want to, feel like I'm nowhere, less than them. I want to be on the same page with, everybody I play next to. Also I know that they got to be proven with, work ethic and how I approach the building every day and week in and week out. And I'm just ready, just kind of get on that track. Really.
Pretty cool story, man. That guy, his story from the preseason to now is pretty crazy. So.
What an absolute beast of a man.
Kirk,
Got a little QB there.
you like
Not
that?
happy with you right now, Kirk.
Yeah. I mean, look at that offensive line. He barely had any time. He probably would
Nice
have
little legs. Nice little legs there.
that would have got us 0 points today as well.
Yeah. Frickin' JJ.
Raheem.
Raheem Mostert. Whew.
Is this a touchdown?
He was
Bunch of TDs in this pack. I like that.
good to prioritize those. Unlike
Yeah. some of the early pack days, man, where there was like just random 20-yard plays. I thought
Braxton Berrios, baby. Braxton Berrios afterburners, kick return, just the best.
Afterburners that he gets caught.
Gets caught at like the 20.
That's all they did. There you go.
Ooh, what's happening?
That's the special one.
That's
That must be your rare sauce
that's
legendary. Okay.
That's just you clicked.
Marcus.
Marcus.
Some QB love in this pack.
Alright. You got some moments to burn. Sometimes you need some of those as well. Alright. Skip over this one. Just click somewhere and you'll get rid of that box. Javon Holland, all-day debut.
Against my Steelers. Pickett right in his hands. Oh, see ya.
Where were the Bengals doing that today, TJ?
Yeah, come on. We're just getting trolled by this pack now. Friggin' pivot off of Las Vegas defense at like 70% ownership. And I mean, Russell Wilson just stands there until people tackle him. That's basically what he does. He looks like Carson Wentz out there. How about Carson getting benched for Heineke? I mean, has to, obviously, but I find that amusing.
3 out of 4 beat Buffalo. Yeah.
So,
What do we got?
yeah,
What's our
and
last
they beat Philly.
Zach Ertz. One of Justin's nice Rumble purchases, nice Rumble additions to this pack. First moment right here, right?
Yeah, except he's out for the season now. was gonna be nice. He was third in tight ends prior to getting hurt. Was just, even though he's not the most efficient and didn't have basically any yards after catch, he was just a focal part of the offense. And now maybe rookie Trey McBride can take his spot. We'll see. Well done, staying in bounds there.
Yeah, nice footwork right there.
Yeah, seriously.
For a big man, nice footwork right there. All right, let's see where we end up. Here we go.
Let's see.
J.A.
46. J.A. Josh Allen.
Take it.
Let's go!
I'll take it. 746.
Let's go.
I love it.
Hell yeah!
I mean, this guy's been the hero of my fantasy squads this year. Just one major league that I got going, him and Diggs together. Just
You and DeBizzle
just
sharing in the Josh Allen love. Pretty nice.
I mean, not many quarterbacks in the league can do that and take the hits that this guy takes. A special character for sure.
Love it.
Love it. That shall do it. Any final words for the people as we close this show on Sunday evening?
I just think that if people were interested in rankings and listicles and figuring out one thing that's more rare than the other, they should keep an eye out this week.
Ayo.
Oh,
When rarity.
And with that said,
After this week.
I actually had a lot of fun. I basically stayed up all night a couple nights ago. Basically
I think this is
built
when
out
I'm
a
supposed to press
model.
the end broadcast button as Justin's talking. Like, and no, go ahead, tell us.
I basically built out a model that's specific to Jolly Jokers that will give you the rarity rank. And so from 1 to 5,000, and letting you know, hey, for all the ones that have been minted, you'll be able to see what your rarity for your Jokers are. And for the ones that have not been minted, those are still be available.
That's
Love
awesome.
it.
Neil has done a fantastic job, basically taking my Scrabble Excel models and turning it into something that it looks amazing. So Neil's done such a good job with the entire JJ Explorer as well. So this is just another kind of addition.
Shout out Neil, man. That guy, he doesn't quit. His brain is on a different level. He's doing all the things for all the JJs, for all the Rumble contests. This guy's just been crushing it. So shout out Neil, man. All right, with that'll do it for the Week 11 edition of the Sunday Night Rundown. We'll catch you guys in the Discord, and if you got other things you want to hear us talk about, let us know. Otherwise, talk to you all next week.